All right, we're back. Chaos and Clarity. We got Joe fucking Gerbo, my better half. We run Plan B Comedy together. Nothing would get done if it wasn't for Joe. So it's great to have him here. It's lovely to see you. I love you very much.
Dude, I love you, man. Appreciate you having me. What is this episode?
This is 10. This is number 10.
Episode 10.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah, man.
All right.
This is it's been nice to have this back. Like, yo, when I started this shit, it was like I only had my close friends.
Yeah.
And none of them wanted to ruin their lives.
This was back in L.A.?
I started in LA and then I had a hiatus and then started again in New York. And it's been a fucking, it was horrible. I had one guy who would come on, but he's like, I got to remain anonymous. So I'm like, that's not fun.
What does this say? Like, what are you guys talking about?
I mean, the shit that we would talk about, but like he has a real job.
Yeah, okay.
You know
that's
what I mean?
Yeah, that's got to be the tricky thing about having a podcast with, actual people that give a fuck.
It's if any of us quit doing what we're doing and decide to go like the traditional route, this will ruin your life.
For sure. I think anytime that you put your opinions out there in any sphere and you're not, I don't know, because comics, our whole thing is like we want to be a little bit edgy. We want to have hot takes.
Yeah.
If you're an accountant, you don't want to have your hot takes out there at all.
No, you're not going to be a very good accountant.
Yeah, no. If you have a wife and kids, you don't want people to know how you feel about Gaza or
your sexual conquest of talking about
pegging.
Yeah, like, I got pegged when I was 25, and it's like, sweetie, I found this on the internet. What's
you
going on?
never told me that
you like things in your ass. What's up? But yeah, man, it's I was at today. We'll start here, I guess. I went to a funeral today.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't know the guy. I just was looking to fuck a body.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it was,
you like him cold.
I like cold. That's why all the women I've ever been with just cold as ice.
I could see that for you.
Yeah, right. Everyone.
Yeah.
They're like, why is she so? Why do you like being?
Well,
around?
knowing this is knowing your mom and your sister, the couple of times that I've met them, I could see how you like someone that doesn't want
to love you,
to smile. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's I guess it's that Freudian shit of like trying to.
Yeah. What is it? It's
you fall in love with your mother, so you want to bang your mom.
It's either you fall in love with your mother or the complete exact opposite of your mother.
Yes, it's one or the other. I actually saw a great meme the other day that said, "How hot do you think Freud's mom must have been?"
Yeah.
That's a fucking, that is brilliant.
For all of his, there was a joke, somebody, some comic mentioned that, where he was like, imagine how hot Freud's mom must have been for him to say that to his friends and all of them go, yeah,
dude. We all want
your mom is hot.
It's a weird thing, but we'll get back to Freud. But I was at the funeral, and it was for my dad's cousin. Like, she was old, so it was kind of like whatever. But when you're in that situation, it's very, you think. And the rabbi, it was a woman rabbi, which I thought was disgusting. That they let a female do a man's job.
Yeah,
but it's gross,
especially in a house of worship.
Yeah. I'm kind of
gonna spite God like that.
If this was a mosque, they would have burned it to the ground.
Yeah, no, she wouldn't have walked out the door.
No, they would have killed her before. But
this is why we can't have jobs.
This is exactly why. This is life ruining. This is it. It's like we've made our decision.
By the way, do you mind if I drink coffee on?
I mind that it's out of a mason jar. That's what I mind.
All right. Well, we can get into the mason jar thing after.
We'll get into that because
I want to hear about you and this dead body that you definitely fingered.
She said something that was really interesting, and I want to see where your head goes and like how you feel about it.
Yeah.
She goes, she was like talking about the person, and she's like, her name was Phyllis, the person who died. I changed when I met you. Whether it was for good, I don't know, but you've changed me. And it wasn't like in a derogatory. I know it sounds kind of derogatory, like, oh, whether it was good or not. It was just the whole point of like when someone comes into your life, you're changed.
Yeah.
What is that? What does it comes to your mind? Because I don't know. It fucking hit me today. Like people coming in and out, and some people leave your life and they're not dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's an effect.
Yeah.
So she had an effect, which is, I think, honestly, it doesn't matter if it was. I'm sure that it was a positive effect, but whether you have a positive or a negative effect on somebody, the fact that you have an effect on somebody is powerful.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that we feel that way sometimes. We talk about it all the time when you're on stage, and it's just like, I would rather have people disgusted than indifferent.
Yeah.
You know, because at least you're having an effect. At least people are listening to what you have to say.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that in this instance it was a positive effect. But the fact that she left it out, maybe it's like, I know the effect that you had on me. You know the effect you had on me. These people, they don't need to understand what I was thinking internally. But I think that's a pretty powerful statement.
It was pretty cool, man. Is there someone in your life, whether living or alive, where they had a strong effect? They're not in your life anymore. Is there
They're
someone
not in my life anymore?
Yeah, like they're not in your life, whether they're alive or dead. You could do both. But like, is there someone where you were like, yo, they just changed me?
That's deep, dude. Holy shit.
Right. This is where we get personal here.
I like it. I think. Well, I mean, I can't think. I can think of, like, I had a friend in high school who he committed suicide, and that obviously has a huge, profound effect on you. That's super deep.
Were you guys close?
We were close for a while, and then towards the end of his life, we kind of drifted away because he, like, college does that, and we were childhood friends, and some, you just drift away from people. But I think that him killing himself definitely altered the way that I think about things, and also just, it was like one of the first people my age that had passed away.
Yeah.
That, you start thinking about your own mortality and how, it's really tomorrow. You're not promised tomorrow. So I don't know. This is, we gotta. I know. Hold on. Can I start over? We gotta cut this shit.
No, we're not. This is beautiful, man. That's the thing. I know we're starting in a heavy place. I guess it's just because I came from there and it was the first thing on my mind.
Yeah. Okay.
But so here's the thing. When he died, did you feel like was there like an anger? Because I know people who've passed away, like OD'd and stuff like that. I don't think I know anybody that, like, intentionally killed himself.
No, I wasn't angry. I know that there were probably people who were.
Yeah.
I wasn't angry. Maybe like a night or two.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to wrap your head around it, and you go, why the fuck would you do this? I felt more, not guilty, but I don't want to say empathetic, because it's really hard to. I think when people say that they're empathetic or they can sympathize, I think it's them trying to sound like they understand people more than they actually do.
Yeah.
But I felt bad. For somebody to be in that kind of place. Just, I can't imagine it.
It's a weird thing. It's why I'm like a huge guy on I call all the time. Like, I phone call, because you just fucking don't know.
You said that to me once. You were like, I'm the guy that thinks, like, that could happen any day. That could happen to anyone. And maybe you're one phone call away.
Yeah. And it's like, why didn't I fucking call? Why? And I know, and we live in this fucking generation where phone calls are considered weird. They're considered, like, intrusive.
They're too direct.
Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, why wouldn't you want to be direct? I hate when you text with somebody. And you in particular, when I text with you, I can't tell.
You can't get a gauge.
Your inflection at all. I read this and I go, I guess he's pissed. And then I call you and you're like, no, I was just being an ass. And I'm like,
I am also not a morning person. I think after like 4 p.m. is when I'm ready to interact with people.
4 o'clock, dude. Holy shit.
I'm nocturnal.
I guess,
I've been
you work late.
I've been working in bars for the last 10 years, so it's kind of conditioned me to, I have to be more social at night.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten, and I've also been, I'm kind of a night owl.
You
in
stay
general.
up late, even on.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I like to stay up late, and that's when I don't know, like, that's when the creative juices are flowing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the morning, I'm pissed off at the world. I'm like, I don't want to be here, and not that, not like that, but I'm like,
I need
I
to
don't
call
want
more often.
I don't want to be outside right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to anybody.
To me, that's insane. Like the sun, even if I haven't slept at all, I'm morning all the time. Like nighttime, I want to be out because I know the world is alive, but
Yeah.
I'm a morning person. Jesus, that fucking honking.
You kind of have an Energizer bunny aspect to you.
Oh, dude.
Like when you're up and at it, you're ready to go.
Yeah, I can't stop. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's keep rolling.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's people have I don't think people are aware. Like I don't think anyone, unless you're a total fucking narcissist, they don't go, oh, I have a great effect on people. Like you got to be a douchebag to think that way.
Yeah, for sure.
But most people don't know, and some of my favorite people don't realize how much like people appreciate their presence.
And it's the coolest thing when you hear from somebody
Yeah,
that you do have an effect on people.
it's really nice.
But you can always see it. You can tell when somebody walks into the room.
Yeah,
And the whole vibe shifts.
it's the best, dude.
And it's when honestly when we were here for the Super Bowl and your dad walks in, he kind of has he has a pull to him.
Yeah,
And even though he was like, it seems like he likes to sit where he wherever he's at is where he's at. You know? He's not gonna go up to you. He's not.
Never.
He lets people come to him, but you can feel it.
Yeah,
Like my dad is kind of the same way, where when he walks into a room, he's there.
that's a fucking powerful thing, dude. And if you don't, I've never asked anyone, like, do you realize the effect that you have when you walk into a room? And is it learned, or is it you think it's like you think it's something that people figure out how to do, or you think it's like you just got it or you don't?
I think it's one of those things where when people say whatever it is, he's got it.
Yeah.
I think it's like that. You can know how to work a room, and I think there are people that are better socially, that kind of like to bump elbows with people. I can think of people off the top of my head that are in the scene that I wouldn't say they have a natural like gravitational pull to them.
Yeah.
But they're unafraid to go and talk to anybody. But there are certain people, to name one, like, not putting him on the spot, but when Kevin Sanchez walks into a room,
Yeah.
I know he's there.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of knows he's there.
And everyone wants to hang around him.
Yes.
That's
And this is me not giving you the satisfaction of saying that you have that effect on people.
get over here and kiss me.
But you do. When you walk in, people know that you're there.
I don't know. I mean, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's first. But to me, I'm just like,
You're just existing.
I don't know the difference.
But that's why you're almost oblivious to it, but everybody else is feeling it. And that's the way that you should be. You shouldn't go walk into a room and be like, I need to be the center of attention.
There's a lot of assholes like that.
Well, I mean, we all pay $5 to be the center of attention for 5 minutes, right?
Which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's really
Because we
insane.
think that we're important. But I think that the kind of people that naturally gravitate towards that have that thing, have it.
Yeah. And do you think, I mean, here's the thing. Maybe we don't think that we're that important. I feel like comics probably don't, but they're so desperate to prove they're the validation. Because I've never seen a group of people more desperate. Actors actually are probably worse.
Have to be worse.
Yeah, they're worse because they don't bring anything to the table. They're not funny at all.
But they are so convinced that people need to be watching them, right?
Yeah, which is dude. It is so disturbing because at least even the biggest asshole comic, if he's funny, you can tolerate him.
Yeah.
With an actor, you're acting. It's like you're not being genuine. And there's so many guys like
and
that.
as soon as they open up their mouths, you're like, somebody should be writing for you because that's the only time that I can listen to you.
Yeah, dude. And
your thoughts are not good.
That's the problem with acting. That's what makes acting so a lot easier than comedy, in the sense of these are not your thoughts. You can go up there and be like, all right, if this sucks, then we could blame this on the writer.
Yeah.
That's why comedy is like the toughest thing, because I believe that this is something that's interesting and funny.
Yeah.
And if you're not on board with me, then my thoughts and my brain are worthless, sort of, in that way.
I know. It's crazy. You feel like you're being vulnerable.
You are.
But then you tell a pedophile joke and people are like, that wasn't vulnerable. That was just gross. And you're like,
but it takes vulnerability to be gross.
Those were thoughts that I had.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing to share them with you.
You know, Corey put it to me best, dude. He looked at me and he's like, he goes, whatever you're doing, he goes, I see what you're trying to do. He goes, I get it. He goes, and the difference between you and the fucking audience is that you know that this place is dark. You know how fucked up it is here.
Yeah, you're not afraid to admit it.
Yeah, and it's like you have to be delusional and you have to be fucking just, no, the world is fine. It's not.
Yeah.
It's really not. And the only way to get over that and address it is by going, hey, here's this. Let's try to make light of it. Otherwise, you're just living in a fucking bubble of insanity to go, no, we shouldn't speak. No, we have to.
The tricky thing is that when people come to a comedy show, are they coming to escape all that? And
that's a good point.
And that's, we talk about when people are on board with you.
Yeah.
Half of the people aren't going to be on board with you because they don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, they wanted to keep it light.
Yeah, that's why I saw a tweet the other day from a comic that said, clean comedy is going to come back in a big way, and it's because all you fucking people want to talk about on stage is gay, retard, and politics.
I don't love politics, but I love gay retards.
No, of course. But the point that he was making was, it's the Nate Bargatze effect, or the Jerry Seinfeld, where some people just want to go and have an easy laugh.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to think too hard.
Which is understandable.
Which is cool, yeah, and it's different genres. It's what certain people want to laugh at certain things, certain people want to go there, and there are people that are going to come to shows that want to hear some really vile, fucked up shit.
Yeah. Because
they're thinking it too. But there are some people that go to shows and they just want to have a cheap laugh and they want to just chill, not have to think too hard.
It's but that's the other thing. It's like, if your personality is pulled in a place like mine or yours, where it goes like, this is what I want to hear. I like this dark shit. I want to say gay retard, and really work at it. Not just go for the sake of saying something insane, but go, I think this is a funny joke, but this is the way my mind works. I don't think that it'll ever be like canceled out. Not everyone likes to go to a Beyonce concert. Not everyone wants to go watch jazz. Not everyone wants to see Post Malone. Yes, there may be millions who watch that one, but there's 7 billion people in the world. There will always be people who want to see, like you said, that specific genre.
There's an audience for sure.
And if you're not being true to yourself, like if you're going to go, I'm going to change my whole thing and go this way, one, you're going to have a harder time living with yourself. And two, will you be as funny because you're not as authentic?
And, well, it's also like, I can't control the way that my mind works, Yeah. Like, that's just some of the things the stuff that we really put down, put pen to paper on, that's just what comes out. I can't fuck around with it too much.
It's interesting. This is where my head went. I think you can control your mind in the sense of like giving yourself discipline, changing the way you do things, really trying to be a better person. But I don't think you can control your mind and what you find funny.
No.
That's a very different thing.
Because it's a gut reaction.
Yeah.
Funny is it just comes out,
That's what I'm saying.
Like the funniest shit isn't the stuff that you have to think about and go, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's just, you hear something, you go, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a visceral reaction.
Yeah. It is the one thing you cannot control, I think.
Yeah.
You can stop yourself from doing something or saying something or whatever, but when someone does something, like being at a funeral and you happen to laugh, there's just something about you. I was talking about it. I did an episode a couple days ago on it is fucking religious. When you find that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you and me, we get each other. We laugh at the same shit.
Yeah.
It's like you and I are seeing we're pulling the veil back on this reality, and you saw that, and it's fucking. Is there any? I mean, obviously, laying in bed with someone's nice, but there's no better bonding. There really isn't.
Yeah, there's nothing better than you and me being the only ones that find something funny.
Dude, because it's like this little secret. It's
Yeah.
like they don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
wish you could, but you can't.
Yeah, it's that's how we became friends. It was we would do the 10 p.m. Grizzly Pair, and you would go up there and say some really dark shit, and people would
Not laugh.
be disgusted. And I would come up to you and I would be like, you got to keep doing that because I love it. I love it.
You were one of the few people who said that, and I remember, and I'm like, okay, I have an
There's
ally.
something there, right?
There's something here. If someone who I don't know finds this funny, then there's got to be others.
Yeah. And that's because sometimes those, especially at open mics, like the crowd is going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not going to be tailored to what you and I should be tailored towards.
Yeah.
You know, it's not where it's going to be a mixed bag of people, especially in Midtown where there's a bunch of tourists and there's, there are nights where we have people from England and from Canada. Then there are times where it's like a room full of black women. And you're just like, all right, so do you guys want to hear about the new Pope? And,
Or should we talk about cotton being picked?
I saw a video the other day of some white guy picking cotton, and he was like, I don't know what they were complaining about. This is easy.
I saw that.
and he's pulling it with such ease, and there's like a nice track in the background.
Yeah, he's like, this is fine. This is not a big deal.
Yeah. And this is, and this is why we wonder why it's been taking us so long to break through. Maybe it's because
it's not us. It's
yeah,
not us.
It can't be.
No way. You got to blame them. Always blame them. But I think, I'd prefer taking this route, the harder route, than going the easier route and getting somewhere and being like, I'm not really me.
What is the easy route, do you think? Is it like popping off on the internet, or is it going like, is LA easier than New York?
LA, not for me.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends. None of it's really easy. I guess this is
there are
entertainment.
people that go to LA to pursue acting and then they become homeless.
Yeah, they do. I was just shy of that.
Were you really?
When I first got to LA, I was living on couches like for a month. I had nowhere to live, and I couldn't come home to Brooklyn because someone sublet my apartment, and my parents didn't know anything that was going on. And I did it with a girl. She slept at her friend's place. I slept at my friend's place, and I couldn't find a job. I had almost $0. It was the most
fucking stressful
character building moment because
Yeah.
I came from a family of means that and it was all gone basically over time, and I have no savings or nothing. It was the most character building moment of my life, and it made me so much. I live with a lot more ease now, where I go, that thing that I'm worried about, you made it a couple of years ago. You didn't know where you were going to eat.
You'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
everything always works out.
that's, dude, it's the straight, my buddy, like, it's like when you're like, shit, that bill is due. Where am I going to get that extra $500? And something happens, a shift opens up, and it works out.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
You've been there. Like
Yeah.
we've spoken about this stuff, and it's so it's important to just be like, this is gonna be fine, as long as you're like not sitting on the couch like just going, yeah, it'll come to me. Like no, when you're starting to push and try to do it, it'll get there.
Yeah, it's the law of applied pressure.
That's it, dude. It happens. But as far as easy going in LA, I think it's harder because I was trying to be myself and I was just not accepted. Believe it or not, when I was doing acting classes in LA, the place where I was accepted was in the acting class. I had a professor, Jackie Diamond, and if you're ever looking for acting courses in LA, you should hit her up. She's fucking brilliant, and she accepted me for who I am. She saw me, she looked at me, she's like, I know you, I get you. And I was very accepted there, so I had a little community. But as far as comedy, I think that if you're in LA doing it, you're like, I'm fine with getting a TV show, I'm fine with this, I'm fine with that. Whereas I think that if you're in New York and you and me, like, sure, would a television show be cool? I guess, yeah, I'd love to pay the bills that way. But I would just want to do stand-up comedy. Like, I really want to. And do, like, a funny movie. Like, that would be fun. But you want to do comedy. Like, we want to do stand-up.
Yeah. That used to be the way that comics made money, was they would start doing stand-up, and then they would get hired to write a sitcom.
Exactly.
And then they would star in their own sitcom.
Yeah.
That was making it.
And then you watch the people, I think Rogan has spoken about it, where you see the people who went that route, and then those people who are writing the sitcoms see that, like, people popping off that they were in the stand-up scene with as stand-ups alone, and I think they're kind of like, fuck, there was a lot more freedom there.
I should have stayed in stand-up.
Yeah, I think. I mean, yes, that person's paying the bills, but if you just wait a little longer.
Yeah.
But this shit is not easy. It's not fucking easy. It's really hard. But I think pandering to the audience, we can use the term easy.
Yeah. Have you ever seen I see it sometimes in New York where, like, somebody is writing for a TV show. Like, they started doing stand-up, and then they started writing for a TV show, and then they're kind of 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out with comedy or with stand-up.
Yeah.
And you can see that they're lacking the reps.
Yep.
And that the stage presence isn't there. To use an example, I would say that somebody like Pete Davidson, who he started off as strictly a stand-up comedian, and then he got into acting. And then I remember he dropped a couple of specials, and it was the special right after he had broken up with Ariana Grande, and he was talking about the song where she's waddling because his dick is so big. And I remember watching that and thinking, like, he's not that good. And not to shit on Pete Davidson, but, like, I watched his stand-up and I was like, it's not at the level that I would say, you know, he was a lot more famous because of SNL and because of movies than for his stand-up.
100%.
And I think that you have to make that choice. You know, that's why I kind of feel like Bill Burr's fallen off, because he started getting more into acting and more into Hollywood, and he's less about stand-up. He's still one of the greats, but it's like you take that time away and you're spending all your energy somewhere else.
Yeah.
It shows.
100%, dude. It's I mean, I was never a huge Pete Davidson fan, and Bill Burr now I don't love his stuff, but it atrophies. I was talking with Corey about that, where it's like, dude, you take a week off,
Dude, that muscle's gone.
It's fucking crazy. It's no different than the gym.
Yeah.
You take a couple days off, a week off. Well, a couple days fine, but a week off, you're done. You're not done, but you're just like, God damn it.
But it's worse than the gym because you have to do it in front of people.
Yeah,
and people have to sit through that and endure it.
100%, 100%. And it's I don't think people understand when you're like, I got to go do a mic today. I got to go do a mic today. I got to go do a mic. They're like, what, dude? You did one yesterday. You did one 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't get it.
You don't, because they don't understand the nerves that go into just getting in front of people. And that it never goes away, but you get more used to it the more you do it. And then if you take a week off, hitting that first mic after a week off, it feels like you're doing comedy for the first time.
It does, man. It really does. And, you know, this is like, I always reference everything to sex because I'm a fucking retard, but
and you never have it.
I never do. It's so sad. I gotta fuck.
Do you jack off a lot?
No.
Really?
No. I mean, it depends.
Did you used to?
Yeah,
back in your heyday?
Yeah, when I was...
What's the most you jacked off in a day?
That's a good question. So here's the thing. I'm not the kind of guy that'll jerk off and then wait a couple hours and jerk off and then wait a couple hours.
You'll do it just rapid fire?
Rapid fire. I'll spend 2 hours straight.
Oh my God! How do you even squeeze that out?
Nothing comes out at some point. You're just like you're just sitting there, just
it's just
twitching.
air.
Yeah, nothing's coming out. But that my friends used to be like, dude, that's fucking twisted. It would
Watching porn for 2 hours is
ruins you.
Yeah.
Ruins you. After that, you're like rocking back and forth in a corner. You're like, oh no.
Holy shit. I feel disgusting after 5 minutes.
Oh
Can't imagine after 2 hours.
It's
I'm not a human being anymore.
No, you're not. And I was really not. I was like, I felt like just a fucking single-celled amoeba. I was like, this is my brain's rotted. But it's what I used to do. But now, because I'm so busy, and sex is important to me, and coming is important. But I don't have. I get home and it's fucking midnight. I got to be up at 6. I'm like, I don't have the energy to jerk off, and I don't do it in 5 minutes. I just don't. I can't.
Oh, you take your time?
Oh yeah. It's like you're having sex. It's the same thing. It's just with myself. Where I'm like, I'm gonna make sure that
you play with the screen a little bit.
Yeah, go right on the screen. It's dude. It's very. I don't do it that often. There'll be like if I have free time and it's like a light week, then I'll go to town.
Yeah, or you're at dinner with somebody and it's a little boring. You're like, why don't I treat myself real fast?
Yeah. But comedy is as far as or doing like what I was going with sex. It's a you're better when you're not nervous. And the less mics you do, like the less you have sex, the more you're going to be nervous when it happens. The less mics you do, the more nervous you're going to be when it happens. Whereas when you could attest to this, that when you go up and you don't really think about what you're about to do, you're just like, I got this. It's ease. You could feel it. It's so good for everyone. The same way when you're about to have sex with someone and you're not in your head, it's fucking beautiful.
And it's also, the more you do it, you can let the bad ones go easier. Yeah. If you're only doing, when I first started doing comedy, I was doing 1 mic a week. Yeah. And I would do bad, and then I would have to think about it for 6 days. Yeah. And then I would go up again, and I would do bad, and then I was just like, oh, so I suck. Whereas if you're doing, 3 mics a night, 5 nights a week. Yeah. Even if you have a bad day, you're like, I'll get it tomorrow. It's
exactly.
fine.
Exactly. You just go, I know that I could do this. It's fine.
Because you had a good day the other day. Exactly. You'll figure it out.
Exactly. And it's always that way. Always. And it's just, you need to keep doing it. Someone said to me the other day, they're like, they were talking about like, oh, I'd love to try stand up. And I look at them genuinely and I just go, you could. If you could write a decent joke and I'm like, no one's good when they start. I'm like, you could do it. I'm like, but you have to be, what you can't do, what most people can't do is deal with being awful at something for a year or 2 years.
That's tough.
That's the hard part. Yeah. But it's like anything else. You want to learn how to play the guitar, you're going to fucking suck.
But again, you can play the guitar at home by yourself.
That's true.
And
that is
you don't
true.
have to expose yourself in front of people. With comedy, you have to get a reaction out of people. Yeah. Out of people that don't know you. Yeah. And so you have to go up there and you have to bomb to find out what works and what doesn't. And it's painful. It's painful.
But you get past, like you and I had spoken about this in February. I think it was February 1st. I'll never forget the day when I got booed. Yeah. Something happened in me. Something changed and flipped, and you said it. Took a couple weeks for me to be like, I was all fucked up. I was angry on stage. I wasn't myself. But something changed in me where I go, the only thing worse than that is if someone tries to hit me on stage. And at that point, like, that's different. That's not embarrassing. That's like, all right, we're going to fight. I'll fucking kill you. But something like that happens, and you almost become slightly untouchable in a way where you go,
if that's the worst that can happen.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing happened to me already.
Mm-hmm.
Really? What do I have to worry about? Yeah. And if that happens, it just changes the game in the sense of I can get up here and do whatever. Like last night, when I made those like racial jokes off the cuff, I'm not thinking anymore about should I say this or shouldn't I. I'm just kind of going, this is where my head's going. I'm on a train. They're having a good time. Let's roll with it. Whereas I think if I never had the experience of getting totally fucking destroyed and humiliated at 31 years old, I don't know if I'd be as easy to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you're do you ever watch racing of any kind?
Not really, no.
Like
F1?
Indy or F1 or anything?
No, but I know it's hot now.
I always think about if I was a driver, you're always afraid of getting into a crash.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's probably got to be, in a weird and fucked up way, kind of a freeing feeling to get into a serious accident on the track and walk away from it and be like, oh, okay, the worst thing that could have happened did.
And I lived.
And the only thing worse than that is if I died. And that didn't happen. So you almost feel, you do feel a little invincible. You do feel a little untouchable.
It's cool as shit, dude.
Because you're not thinking about it now.
No. And it also makes the excitement of actually getting in the car and knowing I may really crash and burn right now. It makes the excitement of that way more, like if you getting in the car, getting ready, like I may die. It makes the excitement of saying that joke a little more of like, hey, if there's any time to do it, like I'm racing, like we're in the car, now's the time to try that crazy turn.
Yeah.
And it makes that a little easier when you've already been
I'm going to take some
burned.
chances.
Exactly.
Because you know what's, it's so funny when you see people that are good or are kind of used to having good sets.
Yeah.
And they start bombing a little bit and then they can't handle it. Because I don't know about you, but I routinely go up on stage and start off so piss poor. I say something off the bat, like when we did that show at the Rose, and it was a bunch of women, and I got up there and I was like, I'm a little intimidated. I think you're hot, and and it was just all crickets.
Yeah,
and I was sitting there going, oh, that was the wrong thing to say, and I'm like, that was weird, and then. And I was just like, well, I'm here, so I might as well just talk about, hey, do you think the pedophiles play fuck, marry, kill?
Yeah. That's the best segue for being, I'm intimidated by you women. Pedophiles, anybody?
Yeah. And then you just go right into it. You're like, I've been here before.
That's the thing, dude. With that, in that instance, I've thought about that with that night. And I think with women, because it was a heavy woman, I was 90% of them were women.
Yeah.
With that kind of crowd, women, even if you like, if you treat it like approaching a woman in a bar, and the first thing you say to her is, "I'm intimidated a little right now," like and even if you're trying to be funny, wherever it's coming from, a woman will just be. I think, especially when you're on stage, men, I don't know for as much, but women, when they see you're in control, they're more tuned in.
Yeah, it's like the shit test.
Yeah.
Is he going to lose confidence?
Yeah, like if you go and say you're intimidating me, which it was the right thing to do in that moment because you felt like it was the right thing to do. That's to me, I'm a very big believer in that.
In my head, what I was, I wanted to come out there and be like, oh my God, such an attractive crowd. I'm a little intimidated.
Yeah, like ha.
It was more innocent.
Yeah, of course.
But the way it came out was like, you ladies are turning me on, and I'm scared of you.
I haven't fucked in years.
And it was but the other thing too is that I think women can pick up more on the subtleties of like, okay, that was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Guys might be like, that was a little awkward.
Yeah.
Women will be like, that was kind of gross.
Yeah.
Don't say that again.
That's the thing where, and once you lose that sort of like, you've seen it. I mean, you've been on stage where you go on there and you're like, what the fuck is up? You're commanding the room, and you can see that there's a guy who's with his girlfriend, and she's smiling, and she's like, you could see she's tuned in. You've pulled her in more than the dude because one, you're an attractive guy. Two, you just have that, and I hate this. This is gonna sound like some Andrew Tate shit, but that like alpha fucking energy. And you can pull a woman in before you've even said a joke based on strictly how you're holding yourself.
Yeah, and I think that guys, at least when I used to go to shows before I did comedy, you're always thinking like, oh, I could do that.
Always.
It's not so hard.
Yeah.
You know, and then, if you're on a date with a girl and the comedian's making her laugh, you're like, he's not that funny.
Like, I could do that. And it's like,
I've made you laugh.
yeah, like,
I make you laugh harder than that.
Yeah. It's a very different experience. And I think men appreciate more, women will appreciate the energy, and a man will appreciate the thing that you're not supposed to say.
Yeah.
Like, you can get the men a little bit afterwards because they're sitting there going, maybe I could do this, and then you say that wild shit that they've been thinking and can't say, and they're afraid, and then you do it, and you're like,
well, and then it has the opposite effect because then the guy starts laughing, the girl looks over him like, you think that's funny?
that's when the switch happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how you get them both, though. You get them both on your side.
Yeah, which is great because you have one guy laughing, you have one who's a little upset. They're both listening, and you're like, I got you both now. Even if one of you hates me,
I got you by the balls.
Yeah, and it's a fucking, it's a really interesting thing because I've seen last night. I think when I did the racial shit, everyone was sort of.
So did you say the N-word or not?
I didn't. I almost did.
How many times have you almost said it?
Way too many. Way too many. No, it's the energy. It was just one of those moments yesterday. The energy was right. The fucking I was saying the right things. It was in the pocket. Like when you the other night when we were at the Pear, I sat there, and it was just you were playing the orchestra. You were playing the orchestra.
Dude, I did not think that was going to go over as well as it did because those are all, I think, those are all like sort of my one-off jokes or not one-liners, but set up punchline, just one after another. And I remember sitting in the audience. I was sitting next to Corey Cooley, and we're watching everybody go up. And you went up, and you had the room with you.
It was okay. It was half.
And there were two girls in the front row that they were just laughing at everybody.
Yeah.
But I could tell that it was a good room.
Yeah.
And I could tell that they were all there to hear comedy.
Yeah.
Whereas like sometimes you feel the room and it's just mostly comics and nobody's listening.
Yeah.
And so I could see this is one of the things about being able to see the room before you go up.
Yeah.
You can go, okay, I think this is what I want to say here.
Yeah.
And when I went up there, I did the ass eating joke, and that went over better than I expected.
Yeah.
And from there, it just gave me, gives you the confidence to go, okay, if you guys like that,
wait till you hear the pedophile joke.
wait till you hear, I got this new trans bit. You want to hear it? And then, it was all going, and it was also weird because I was, it's a good feeling when you have to stop for laughs.
Yes.
Because then the timing comes so naturally.
Yeah.
And I was sitting up there waiting for, this sounds a little conceited, but I was waiting for laughter to stop. And I was just like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
I looked over at you, and I was in the middle of a joke, and I see you over on the side of the stage, and you're smiling at me, and I was like, because you knew exactly where I was going from there. And I kind of shook my head, and then you go into the next one, and it keeps riding. And that takes conditioning. That takes a while to master. And like, we're not masters of it yet, but it takes you a while to be able to ride the fucking waves.
Yeah. And not jump the gun and blow your load too quick.
Right.
Having that ease. Like, they're all laughing right now. I can wait for my next joke. I'm not going to rush into it so the laughter doesn't die.
Right.
I actually let the laughter die because I know the next one's going to hit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let the laughter die, and then that way you're not speaking over people.
Yeah.
Because allow them to have their moment. Because it's you think about, having your type 5. Your type 5 could really be 3.5 minutes of you speaking, and then,
if it's popping off, hell yeah, dude. It's that's you said something before that was really interesting of like and you and I both do it, but when you see the room and you're like, I want to try this, will you intentionally go into the room and go, I'm going to try that joke that'll probably, because in my head I'll see people and I'll go, I'm going to try the joke that I don't think will work here to see if it has legs, because if it works with these people, like the Asian joke, the Down syndrome thing, that I go, I got a whole group of Asian people. I want to see if this works with them.
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes
Okay.
and no. That's a good example. We were at a mic, and the whole crowd was basically this one group. It was probably like 10 to 12 people, mostly Asian kids.
Yeah.
And they were all sitting in the front row, and you have a joke about, does this person have Down syndrome or are they Asian?
Yeah, yeah.
And that is the perfect room for you to go. If they laugh at this, then I know it's funny.
Yes.
And I know it's just it's purely funny. It also takes a lot of balls to go up there and be like, okay, in this joke, this is who I'm talking about. I'm talking about you guys.
Yeah.
So you tell me whether you think this is funny or not. I now have gotten into kind of the habit of I've been to so many rooms multiple times where I know generally what's accepted and what's not, with a certain group. And so I'll shy away from certain topics if I know, like if I'm performing over on West 4th,
Yeah.
I won't do a lot of my favorite stuff.
Yeah.
I'll do more of the, I guess, more relatable, safer stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want to see if my clean stuff will work on comics.
Yeah.
And when I'm with the degenerates, or if it's a late night, that's when I pull out the rougher shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, these are the when I go to the late night shows, I'm like, this is the crowd that I want to play to.
Yeah.
And so I want to give them my favorite jokes or the stuff that I think is really, really funny. And then when I'm doing like the earlier night stuff or the early afternoon mics, that's when I go, okay, here's the stuff that it's a little bit safer. It's a little more silly. It should work. So tell me if there's anything to it.
I understand that.
And
that's a smart way to work.
Like I want to show off for my friends.
Yeah.
And be like, this is this new one that I'm really excited about. And then for the people that are maybe, I guess just more, they're my peers, but they're not really people that I'm comfortable enough with.
Yeah.
I'm just like, here's the stuff that, the more, I don't know, just stuff that I kind of find boring, but I know that should work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think what you do is a lot cooler because you're like, I have to say this in front of you.
Yeah.
You kind of take the moment by the balls, and you're like, no, this is where I want. This is what I've been writing for the last week. I need to say it.
It's yeah. I mean, I guess that's where I don't know. It's just how my brain is of like, if this is a joke that is about a specific, or as fucking gay people talk about, not gay people, like gaylords, like douchebags.
Gaylords?
Edgelords. I'm like, I gotta, here's how you know I'm not a racist piece of shit. Where I'm like, we're having fun. Like, if I can make you laugh at yourself, and I'm not that demographic, then you have to understand we're just having fun with each other. And there's nothing, for me, I don't love, like, laughing at my own shit, but when you're on stage and, like, they're laughing and you're like, you have this thing and then you laugh, and there's when you're having a good time, they're having a good time. And you could understand that, like, hey, I don't hate you. I got nothing. It's just an observation that I had. Same way I'd have an observation about Jews. I just can't pick out Jews in the crowd unless I got a whole group of Hasidic people there, which majority of the time will never happen.
Yeah.
But like, I'm making fun of myself as much as you, so just don't get it twisted. I wish, the other thing is, I can't write, not that I can't. My brain, I just go to the sickest places. And it's so hard for me to write a clean joke. So there are times it's 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock and I'm at a mic and I'm like, I don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
I got the dirty shit.
Yeah. And at 4 or 5 o'clock, people aren't ready to hear the dark stuff.
They're not. It's fucking, once the sun goes down a little, then we're like, okay.
Yeah.
We've had a drink in us. Say it, But, dude, it's
just you can feel the vibe in the room.
Always, always.
And I think the best thing to do is to be, this is what I've been working on.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to talk about, and not go, oh, well, I don't think this is going to work in this room, so I shouldn't say it. I think it's better, and it's a lot braver to go into a room and be like, you're going to hear it whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
But the thing is that is risky.
It's risky. And
so and I'm more about like calculated risk.
Which you are legitimately, you're a lot more logical than I am. You're definitely smarter than I am. And you have there's a maneuver here. And I'm like, it's like you're going in the ring and your defense is really good. I'm going in the ring getting punched. Like, I'll knock him out, but I have to get punched in the face 17 times, which is not a smart way to fight.
Yeah. Like, he'll get tired.
Yeah, it's like at some point I'll just
he's going to slip up and then I'm going to catch him.
Yeah, which is dumb. That's not how you fight.
Well, I mean, if you got a tough chin, if you can take it. That's the thing too. If you have the balls to go up there and you go, this could go very badly.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it anyways. And then you already have, you spoke about it earlier, you've had the worst thing happen to you on stage.
Yeah.
That was as bad as it can get. And so since you have that in your back pocket, you've lived through that experience, you probably have more, you have the balls to go up on stage and be like, if that happens again, doesn't matter.
Good. Yeah, like let's
because I'll still be here next week.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Man. It's one of those things. I think that's been the thing that's sort of been pushing me to make me go, all right, like I'm here, and it's, there are people like I see like Joe DeVito, who's a sicko. He's a sicko like us.
Yeah, he is.
And
he is. He doesn't seem like it. He seems like he's like the kid from Up.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's a sweet little, there's like this little bubble around him.
But when I see what he laughs at and when he and I have banter, I go, you and I speak the same language. Okay, yeah. I got this. And I see he gets slightly nervous, like with like, I don't know if I should do this. And he's still way newer, and we've been at it way longer than he has. But I go, I kind of want him to get booed. Not because I love you, Joe. He's probably not going to listen to this anyway, but because I go, oh, once you...
It'll be good for him?
Oh, because then he'll be like, fuck you. Yeah. Here's the thing. People talk about comedy, who they're like, oh, who do you love the most? Who do you look up to? And this is the whitest shit I have ever said in my life. When I think of comedy, I have my greats, but when I think of the comparison of what I'm trying to do, besides just be funny, it's Eminem. Like, I'm a big Eminem fan. Mm-hmm. And what he did...
I am whatever you say I am.
There's that whole thing of... First of all, the time it was, because you weren't allowed to... He was saying that he was going to rape his mom and kill his... rob a bank and kill this one. And he's got that song. He's like, if you think... Like, people ask me, like, do I actually do the things I do on record? If you think that, like, I'll kill you. And then he does that song Criminal.
Yeah.
And he created an alter ego of like Slim Shady, making it like this is the person doing it. It's not really me. And he has these moments of heartfelt, like, I'm dying inside also. This is tough. And it's like, he was also like, who would have thought that like this crazy shit would hit? And that's how I look at that. And that's sort of not the model. I don't want to say I'm trying to be like Eminem because that's insane.
Yeah.
But the model of like, people he was talking about rape and murder and all this crazy shit and it was funny. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. People went, holy shit, dude. And they loved it.
Crazy white boy.
Yeah. And I go, that makes sense to me. I'm like, that's kind of the thing I'm trying to do, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's like he's your spirit animal.
Yeah. Like I'm saying this insane shit. And if you think that this is actually true, you're a fucking idiot. You don't get it.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, he's okay. So you're talking about he's one of your models. Is there a particular stand-up that you look to and you're like, he is whatever he does? It doesn't have to be the material, but you're like, just the way that he commands himself on stage. I want to be like that.
As a kid, it was Chris Rock. I would watch Chris Rock and go, ladies,
you want to be black.
I want to be black so bad.
Yeah. Your two favorite guys, Eminem, a white guy that wanted to be black, and then
Chris
an
Rock.
actual black guy.
It's a First of all, I think black people are just inherently funnier than white people for the most part.
You don't have to think that they are.
It's the truth. They're
Yeah.
just fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
And
Because they don't give a fuck.
they don't. They go and they just do it. You look at like Patrice. You look at Chappelle. But Rock, I was watching Never Scared, which is I think my favorite special. Bring the Pain was amazing, but Never Scared, where he was just like he goes like, ladies, when your man does this, this, and that, you know, a lady will go this, you know, and then he'll go, fellas. Like there's this sense of camaraderie of like I don't know how to explain it, but I watched it as a kid and I loved it. So it was Rock then, but now I mean it's still him, Brian Holtzman, which people don't really know who he is. He's a Long Island guy who lived in L.A. and he's from the 90s, and he was there to clear out the room at 2 a.m. and he's a maniac.
Yeah.
I love it, and it's so absurd. You watch Brian Holtzman say the things he says. Like I think he said at Madison Square Garden once of like, I wish someone would fucking rape her already. Like so he was talking about some woman, and it's insane, but it's a joke. Like you don't get it. It's so absurd. You don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. He is. He's just figuring it out when he gets on stage.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't go up there with anything planned.
No.
He's just going up there and he really lets it fly.
Yeah, and he uses that fucking insanity, which is in comedy. I mean, in any creative endeavor, if you channel insanity correctly, then you can shine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the line between insane and genius is
it's right there. They're
paper
neighbors,
thin.
you know.
Yeah.
But what about you? Who do you look at and you're like,
let's see. I mean, we both. I talk about it ad nauseum, but I think that Anthony Jeselnik is the greatest joke writer that's ever lived. I think that he's just like he took sort of the. Do you know who Stephen Wright is?
yes, the old comic.
Yeah, he was an 80s or 90s comic, and he would talk about. He had a joke where he's like, "I have about a humidifier and a dehumidifier." And I'm just letting him duke it out in my bedroom.
Which is fun.
It's just like this. So he has and Mitch Hepburn, who is insanely just one of the greatest joke writers. Just the economy of words. He could make a 5-word sentence a joke.
Yeah,
and it's brilliant.
Yeah. His shit is funny.
But Anthony Jeselnik took the setup punchline and made it as dark as possible.
Yeah.
And he kind of like cornered the left turns of, I'm going to take you down this route, then I'm going to hit you over the head with a rape joke.
Yeah.
And so to me, he is the best. He's the best at telling jokes.
Yeah.
And then I think Patrice is up there with Patrice has sort of a how Kevin Sanchez will go up there and. He has kind of a broad topic. Yeah. And then he really picks it apart and tells you why it's so fucking ridiculous. Yeah. So I don't know. I really tried when I got into comedy to be Anthony Jeselnik. Yeah. And then I found that A, I'm not smart enough to be that, and B, he's already so good at it. Yeah. I can't be any better than him. So now I kind of look at Corey Cooley, and I'm like, I love what he does. I've told him this many times, but like there are times when I'm writing at home and I hear his voice in my head, and I don't know if I'm biting his style, but I can tell that he's having an effect on me. Being around him has made me, I think, a better writer. Yeah, and it's made me approach it a little bit differently. Because he said something to me where he was like, it's a skill to go up on stage and say the worst thing that you can think. It is. And to say that in front of people over and over and over again. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Because sometimes I say something and I'm like, oh man, that was gross. I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. But instead of apologizing about it, you're like, no, this is what I want to do. And that's where the skill of it comes in, where you're like, I'm gonna make this somewhat palatable. Yeah, and it takes a lot of time to do that. But it's
once you have it down and once you're able to do it and just go, you're really golden. Like, you're really, really golden. But
Brian Holtzman has that in the bag.
oh, dude. Yo, I know women. There's some women, like the cool women I know, which I don't usually hang out with uncool women because they're just they don't matter. They
Sounds like you don't hang out with women.
no, none of them are cool. No, there are a couple women that I one in particular, where I will run jokes by her. Not be one because I'm not really getting a female opinion, because she's not like other females.
Is she a comic?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, girl that I've had romantic things with.
Is this your sister?
Yes, it's my sister.
Because she's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, we've had romantic past together. I can't even say that. That's where my line is.
No, I could tell.
Yeah. But
It's nice to know that you have a line.
It's really faded, dude. And I'll run shit, and it's the darkest, most disgusting shit, and she'll laugh. And maybe she's biased in a way, but she said to me once, she goes, I want to hear the shit that you're not supposed to hear. Mm-hmm. And I go, there must be other women like that. There's got to be. Because a lot of the times the women are controlling the internet in a way of like what you post on the internet. If a couple of cool girls are the ones who are going to share it, like the guys will too, but I feel like women are the ones who control the ticket sales and the internet in a way. Like if you can get women to like you, you'll be able to get further quicker. Whereas if it's just men, because like, if you're in a relationship, realistically, if you like a comic really who's a sicko that your girlfriend doesn't like, you're probably going to go see the comic that she wants to see. Or maybe not comic, musician.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like you're dragging her somewhere.
Exactly. The boyfriend always needs to be, or willing to get dragged. Like, all right, you want to go see this? Fine, we'll go.
Yeah, I think fame is being accessible to women, because if you look at the Beatles back in the day and you look at some of the crowds that were playing on the Dick Van Dyke Show or whatever, and it was just all these women going crazy, and guys see that and they're like, oh, if women like this shit, I better be
on it. Yeah, I better know.
You know who was Chris D'Elia before all that shit?
Yeah, the rape allegations.
Women loved him.
Yeah.
Women flocked to his shows.
And he was huge.
Matt Rife has that where, like most of his audience are single women.
Exactly.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
There's just something, because every guy wants to be the guy that all the women want.
Yeah.
And all the men want to be.
Exactly.
And
that's right.
And so if you do have a female audience, or if you can relate to women, they dig your shit. It's I don't know.
I think it'll catapult you. Women are more on the internet sending things to their friends. Women aren't posting. Men, I think, are posting more. I think women are sending shit behind the scenes more.
They kind of dictate what's acceptable.
Exactly.
It's like socially acceptable.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, okay, I think that I genuinely think that women are the ones that kind of control, young women control that sort of maneuver. And the funny thing is that I love women. I really do.
Yeah.
My act, you maybe wouldn't recognize it, but I know if I got off stage and hung out with a bunch of women, they'd be like, wow, like, okay, you're really cool. I want to relate to women more, but I want to relate to them on a gross level of like, hey, like just get out of that little, like get out of your shell for a second and just, like that's why I've been doing that whole bit. Like the whole thing was, how can I relate to women more? And I did that whole fairy smut shit. Mm-hmm. And I can see the women are more engaged than any other joke I've ever told.
Yeah.
And that's
because you're speaking about them. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I love Patrice, dude. Patrice had a way of shitting on women, but also making it like acceptable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. He had that whole bit where he was talking about, he's like, I cheat on women because I love them. Mm-hmm. Because I want to be with them. And, I love my girl. And she, like, me cheat. I don't know. I think that to the effect of, he was like, I'm happy because I'm cheating on her. and she deserves to have somebody that's happy with her, or something. It was something like that.
It makes me realize like how much I love her or something, or like
yeah.
some shit like that.
And then he was talking about, he's like, women are like fish, and I'm a fisherman, so you got to catch the fish. But if the fish sees that she's the only fish that I can catch, she's gonna think I'm a loser.
Yep.
So I got to be able to catch all these fish
and let you know that, hey, look, you're lucky to have me. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
In a way, he's talking about how, he's not really making fun of women, but he's having fun at their expense.
Yeah.
But he's making it he's like inviting them to the party.
Yes.
And he's not saying you wouldn't get it.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. And that's why, and that to me, I appreciate, because so many dudes love comedy already. And if you can get some women on your side, it's nice. It's just cool. I love, as you can tell, everything I compare to a relationship. I love the way that relationships work. I think it's so interesting and so fucking relatable. But I like a little darkness to it.
So you grew up, you have one sister, right?
Yeah.
And were you closer to your mom than your dad growing up?
No, growing up, I think I was closer to my dad. As I got older, I appreciated my mom a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think about that all the time. I have an older sister.
Yeah.
And I think this sounds pretty gay, but I am more comfortable around women than I am around a bunch of guys. Like when I go to a bachelor party, I can't hang out with 15 guys. Like I was never in a frat.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting to me because there's too much competition.
Yeah.
There's too much testosterone, and I'm not talking about like toxic masculinity or anything like that because I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about I just can't, like, I can only hang out with men for a certain amount of time,
Dude.
I like hanging out at home with my girlfriend and not saying a goddamn word. I'm just comfortable.
I'm comfortable when she's cooking for me and she's quiet.
Dude, Patrice said it. He was like, men, we don't want to be lonely. We want to have somebody around, but we don't want to, it's like, I don't want to have to pay attention to you. I just want you to be around.
Yeah, just exist.
I don't want to be alone. Yeah. I want to be left alone, but I don't want to be alone.
I'm that way. I'm 100% that way. Yeah. But, dude, hanging around guys. I mean, I'm not a sports dude. Like, yeah, I'm watching the Knicks because they're in the playoffs. I do know who the people are.
Yeah.
I don't watch football. If the Super Bowl's on, I watch Super Bowl. Hockey, that's what I follow. However, I can't sit around. Like, I listen to you guys. You talk with some of the comics about FanDuel and the game. And I'm going, I am so bored right now.
That's just speaking their language.
I guess, but
That's
I can't. I mean, you see me. There are times where I'll run away and just sit in the corner and smoke cigarettes because I'm like, I can't do this right now. I'd rather sit with women. I don't want to hear them gossip I don't want to hear gossip about famous people. I don't give a shit about that. But I love talking to a woman who's dealing with a boyfriend or a situationship, and I go, okay, sweetie, talk to me. I'm like, I'll give you a male's opinion right now. I'll tell you exactly what's going on. That I have so much fun with that. And it's.
Do you think you want to fuck these women?
I want to fuck all of them.
No. You're a scumbag.
I'm a dirtbag. Yeah. What do you think I'm doing there? I don't actually want to.
As somebody who's currently in a relationship, that's like the number one fear is that there's some guy being like, yeah, he's such an asshole.
No. Here's the thing. I would never shit on a guy. If you're in a committed relationship, that's different.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, you should leave him. I'll go, yo, maybe you should, like, understand his perspective. Like, if you've been together for a while, that's none of my fucking. I don't want any part of you or that. But if you're a single girl and you're like, yeah, I want to, like, even on a date, I'm like, yeah, so, like, what was the shittiest date you've been on lately?
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Then I'll be like, oh, that guy and there have been times where, like, he sounds fucking fine.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, maybe you should go on another date with that guy.
Yeah.
But I love hanging out with women. It's fun.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know if it's easier, but it's just we're compatible. And I grew up with an older sister.
Yeah.
So I kind of like I know guys that have brothers and they love duding it up,
That's I'm out of my friend group of the people I grew up with, I am the only one with a sister, and she's older. I think people with especially older sisters, they have a level of sensitivity as a man that other men do not if they don't have a sister. I was always more sensitive than my friends. I treated women better. I just get it a little more, and I think that you are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, it's more definitely more sensitive.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you cry when you come also?
No,
It's just me. Okay.
No, I mean, I haven't come in a while, so.
Oh, so you're duding it up.
Yeah. I save my tears and my cum.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Both salty.
Yes. But no, I think I don't know.
It's
blanking.
No, it's a sensitivity of being a little more sensitive than when you're in a.
So I handle I handle my emotions like a woman.
Oh, what do? You throw plates?
No. So like if you say something mean to me,
Yeah.
or I don't like something you said,
You shut down?
yeah. I won't talk to you.
I used
give
to
you
do
the
that.
cold shoulder.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
And then I got tired of it. I'm like, I can't say that.
Like I think the guys, the way they process their emotions, it's like, I don't know. It feels like you gotta get that shit out. Where like me, I just let it boil.
Oh no, that's the worst, dude.
Yeah,
it's the worst. You can't do that. I used to do that, and he drove me fucking nuts. And now when I'm with someone who can't have a conversation, well, you need time. You do need time to simmer. Like if you have a big fight, having the conversation right then and there is never a good idea. You got to go. I'm gonna go for a fucking 3-hour walk.
Yeah, I'll step away for a second.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. But let's both clear our head, and then we can have a normal conversation. But if you let it sit, and you're like, no, I'm fine. That's not good.
But then I also hate talking about my feelings. So it's like the
yeah, you're a fucking
duality, dude.
You are the most interesting dude.
Yeah, because I'll get really, really upset, and I'll be like, that really upset me, but I'll never voice it because I'm like,
I can't talk about it.
Like that's so fucking gay that I would want to explain myself to people.
No, I have no problem with that.
That's the other thing. I hate explaining myself. I hate it. I hate explaining my thought process to people. Unless it's something where, unless it's like I don't like talking about my opinions openly with people. I really don't.
Okay.
But I like talking about my thought process with jokes. You know, I like that, or I like talking about. I love explaining to people why I like certain teams, like why I grew up a Washington Redskins fan and why I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. And I'm like, because it's my dad. And I like to talk about, my relationship with my dad and, growing up. But I don't like to talk about like current events and explaining why I feel certain ways.
No, that to me I think is also ridiculous because it's like, what are we doing here? We're just going to end up in a fight if we have an opposing opinion.
Yeah.
And we could agree on everything else. This may ruin
it's just
everything.
Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I
agree. And the other thing is if someone has an opposing opinion, a lot of the times you think to yourself, this guy must be a fucking idiot if he thinks that way.
Yeah.
So you're kind of better off just not talking about it. But you have a fucking... watching you process emotions, and I'm fucking crazy. I know I have something terribly wrong with me, but I can speak my emotions, and I have a very easy time with being emotional, and that's from my dad, believe it or not. But it's almost like there's an error where you're like, no, I can't do this, and I know you feel a lot, and to me, I'm always kind of trying to like Jenga you. Like I'm gonna pull that little brick out. I'm gonna pull that little brick out. You're gonna open up.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels so exposing.
It is.
Like
getting on fucking stage is exposing, and you
I
do
know,
that.
I know. But when so if I have a bad set,
yeah,
I will sit down in a seat, and if somebody tries to talk to me, I'll phone it in. But in my head, I'm like, you fucking suck. How could you you thought that was going to work? And I'm sitting there and I'm just needling myself being like, and all I want to talk about is like how bad I feel, but I don't want to be a bummer.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah. So I just sit there and I swallow it and I'm like, yeah, No, it was a
Well, yeah, talking about it on stage, that's not a good idea. That's terrible.
no, not on stage, but even off stage.
Oh, no, that's
Even
fine.
off stage,
I wouldn't care.
I have a hard time.
Yeah, talk it up.
I just have a hard time opening up.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Dude, this is there were moments where Cam was like, wow, you have me in a deep thought. And it's like, I've been trying to figure out what the fuck this podcast is forever. It's always been just a fun place to let loose, but to get like, yo, I love getting deep. I fucking love it. And and this is the place I can do it. You can't do this shit with people. Like, no one wants to get deep anymore. No, and women don't. Very few. And it's like, I love it, dude. I fucking
You
love
really
it.
are a woman.
I am. I
Yeah.
really am.
Yeah.
I love seeing people go,
You're like, tell me your deepest, darkest secrets.
yeah, dude, I fucking love it. How do you not? That's the interesting stuff. That's
But
the fucking...
because people, I think, inherently they feel suspicious of somebody that wants to hear that, because it's like, but when you invite somebody to tell them
yeah,
or to tell you their deepest, darkest secrets, you're like, I'm going to tell you mine right off the bat.
that's the thing.
You're like, don't worry, don't feel uncomfortable because I'm going to tell you. And you say that first to invite people in.
Where I go, you're okay. I promise you, I want nothing from you except for us to go, I see you. I
Yeah.
see you. And it's because I think in my case, I've been trying to be understood my entire life. I've kind of given up on the fact that like not everyone's going to get me. But I've always been trying, even by my parents, to just be understood.
Yeah.
And I know that there's other people that feel that way. And I know how lonely it fucking feels. And I go, I promise you, like if you give me a little nugget, I promise you'll feel seen. And I would never judge you. Like we have a friend, I'm not going to say his name, who had told me that he tried to kill himself and he failed. And I was like, loser.
Yeah, wow, you can't even do that, right?
Yeah,
Jesus.
like you fucking wow. Why am I talking to you? But no, he told me that.
Was this recently?
It was a little while ago. Maybe it was a little less than a year ago. And he told me that, and now it's always in the back of my head of like, they tried to do this. I'm gonna always keep in mind if they're feeling down, I got to really zero in. But they told me that, and I was kind of like, dude, I have those thoughts every fucking day.
Yeah.
Every day. I'm like, so I promise you, like, it's not worth like going through with it if you ever feel like it. And I'm like, yo, you can call me. And like that to me is like, you get deep and it gives you an opportunity to go, all right, I have someone who knows that I feel this way. And if I ever need an outlet, I'm here.
The power of telling somebody they're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, and as men, as you get older, it's harder even just to make friends.
Yeah.
You know, thank God for comedy because we were able to sort of agree and like connect on this shit. But
Yeah.
yo, what about dudes who work in accounting who, you know, they have their wife and kids and they can't say what they're really thinking in their job. And it's like, yo, making friends at 30 years old is impossible.
Yeah, their circle of influence is limited to the people they work with and then the people they grew up with and then their wife. Like that's what's nice about I mean, you can call it a hobby. Having a hobby where you meet a bunch of people that are looking to connect with others, you know, that kind of have like an open door. That is one of the cool things about doing comedy is that I have met a lot of people at, you know, I'm 30 years old now, so I've made new friends a lot later than most people do, I think.
I have more friends than ever in my entire life. And that's, people do not say that at 30 years old.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's crazy. I have a friend, a female, who was telling me this story about how she got heavy into yoga, but she's super duper conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And yoga is a very liberal shit. And she was like, they didn't know I was conservative. And then when Trump got in, she started to let herself be seen a little more. And they kind of not exiled her, but they were like, like you're not part of the group anymore, even though they've known each other for 2 years. She made this really nice unit.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool part about comedy is it really doesn't matter your political if you're hanging out with like good, fun comics. It's one of the few things where your political opinion doesn't really matter. Whereas I think making friends at 30 now also, that's a huge factor.
She just needs to go to another yoga studio somewhere outside of Brooklyn. Go to Long Island.
They don't live in New York.
Okay, yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've never, those yogi motherfuckers, And I love yoga. I did yoga.
Well,
but-
they're so hippy dippy, and it's it's like peace, love, and all that. But the thing that like that that tends to be more left, but now the left is very unaccepting.
The left is the worst, dude.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be. Like being peaceful and being love is love and we love everybody. You're really not, because you're preaching that, but it's very set in stone. Like, this is how we feel, and if you don't agree,
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's sad. I remember watching. I know you didn't watch the new season of White Lotus, right?
I didn't watch any of it.
All right, there's this character. There's this group of women. They're all at this hotel together. It's 3 of them. One of them is like a writer in New York City. One of them is an actress in L.A. And another one is a housewife in Austin.
Okay.
And the housewife in Austin kind of brings up Trump, and her 2 friends are like, "You didn't vote for him, right?" She's like, "Well, my husband likes him. I kind of like him," and they shun her for it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I thought of when you spoke about this, because they're also like in the show, they're depicted as kind of like yoga chicks, and and yeah, that sucks.
It's fucking terrible, dude. It's not fair. And it's like, yo, just because you voted for someone or you believe this, which, by the way, the conservatives, and I'll say it fucking here, make so much more sense than the liberals right now. And that's why I'm in the middle, but I lean way more fucking right. So you've heard it here, motherfucker. But
yeah, close the border.
In acting school, right? I'll give you this. This is gonna be.
Wait, can we take a time out to take this?
Yeah, go for it.
Acting school. I kind of know where you're going with this. When you were out in L.A.,
No. This was even before LA. This was 2016. This
Oh.
is when Trump came in.
Okay.
When
you were in school?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And people in the acting class were like, "Oh, fuck him, he's a fucking monster." And I'm sitting there going like, "I fucking voted for this guy."
Yeah.
And I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And I had to hide that. And then when he won, everyone was like, "If you need to take the day, you could take the day." And I was like, "Why are we taking the day?" I'm like, "I paid for fucking school."
Yeah.
I'm like, he's the president. Big fucking deal.
It's ridiculous. I felt the same way because I voted for him in 2016. And this is why I hate explaining myself. People, I would tell people that I voted for him.
Yeah.
And they would go, "How could you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, because you think like that.
Yeah.
Because you think that I can't do that.
Yeah.
That I shouldn't.
That's enough
People
reason.
like you telling half of the country, like, that's so wrong. How could you even wrap your head around voting for him? And it's like, you made me in a way.
Yeah.
You kind of made me feel this way.
It's like when your parents tell you not to smoke cigarettes. It's like you just want to do it more.
Yeah, or they're just like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong. And it's like, why? Why is that wrong?
Yeah. I have a
Because
equal
you
right-
decided to?
Yeah.
You decided?
I have every right to vote for whoever the fuck I want to vote for.
Yeah.
And
it really should not be that big of a deal who you vote for. Because it's like everybody has different opinions on everything, and you just pick a side that is more aligned with what you like. What people do is, with Republicans, they take all of the worst aspects of Republicans and they place it on the voters.
Yeah.
So like if you vote Republican, you're automatically a racist and a sexist.
Yep.
And then if you're a Democrat, you think with your heart, and they don't talk about all of the worst things of that party.
There's a saying of like, if you're a young person and you're not liberal, you lack a heart. If you're an older person and you're not a conservative, you lack a brain.
Right.
Which is, I get it. But now there's no heart in liberals. There's not. There's nothing it's the most toxic.
They only love people that vote with them and people that were born outside of this country.
100%.
It's insane.
Yeah. And if you have a
totally
dick and you're
insane.
white, God help you. And you like pussy.
If you have any sort of if you are misrepresented in any way, or if you have any sort of like struggle,
Yeah.
so-called struggle, that's how they, or any sort of perceived struggle. then
Well,
you have,
you're special.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be taken care of. If you have any sort of victimhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, how we'll help you? We'll move into your neighborhood and jack up the prices. And
well, and you know what's really fucking crazy, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Is that white men are, especially straight white men, they're seen as like the worst of society.
Yeah.
But then if a straight white man comes out as trans and cuts his dick off, then all of a sudden he's a hero. She's queen. We have to save her. It's fucking nuts.
We should do a mockumentary on that.
It's so nuts. I could very easily, if I started to dress like a woman and started to present myself as a woman, I could say all of the worst shit that I feel.
Yeah.
People would be like, wow, she's really brave.
Yeah.
It's so cool that she thinks like that. She's so nuanced.
Look at her. Look at her go.
Yes. It's fucking, I'm going to say this right now. There is I'll just say it. There's a trans person that I know, and the way she speaks to me, I'm like, if you were a dude, we would have a really big problem.
You would have been knocked out.
We would have a huge problem.
Yeah.
But because you are a woman now, you get away with it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking bullshit.
See, the way I see
that
it,
is like the fine print.
Yeah. I don't want to get arrested for any hate crimes, but like if I could still see the dude in your face, I should have a right to hit you.
Shave that Adam's apple down or we're fighting.
Yeah, it's like, how dare you? Like, I've let women speak to me. I would never touch a woman ever, like a real woman.
Yeah. Yeah, a real woman.
Yeah, but like if I could see the dude in your eyes, I should be able.
It's game over. Yeah.
Yeah, like you'd be fucking dead right now.
Yeah. Like if you had a gun and I had a gun,
we're going to duel.
Yeah.
This is, dude, we live in an insane society. I think it's the trans movement. I think you should, if you want to do whatever you want to do, fine, I guess. But when you start disparaging the things that women, and I love women. I'm not a feminist, but I think women should have every right that a man has. I think they should do, but you're fucking up what women have been fighting for fucking decades.
Yeah.
By doing the shit that you're doing.
You're kind of hopping on the train when it's already taken off.
Yeah, like what? Like you
didn't go through the struggle of being a woman your whole entire life.
Yeah,
you just decided, that
I can get further ahead this way.
Yeah, or I guess I'm more comfortable, and that's fine. Like, do whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit. But it's when you start trying to change legislation to benefit a fraction of the country or a fraction of the world, and you make that the number one issue, it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Be more like Thailand. The ladyboys know they're not women.
Yeah, and they're just having fun.
Yeah, they're part
of the attraction.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
So like that's how we should be treating the trans people.
Like I think RuPaul's Drag Race is a fine show, but I don't think that the Secretary of Health needs to be a trans woman because we've never had one before.
No.
Why?
No. We need a white man in power.
We need a white man who can barely speak because he's got a brain worm.
I actually love RFK, believe it or not.
I don't really have an opinion on him. I just think it's very interesting that he used to be liberal and now he's conservative. And I think that is more telling of the current administration, that a lot of the people in it used to be Democrats.
Yeah, and
but they felt so alienated by the other side.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, if you're going to eat your own, if you want to look at the side of tolerance, the right has more claim to it now than
they'll accept you
did.
coming over. Like, they're like, hey, you want to come over here? We'll accept you.
Yeah.
The liberals will be like, no. You were on that side. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
But anyway, I think we got to cut it. What time is it? It's 2:00.
All right,
dude.
I had a blast.
Love you.
I love you, man.
You're the best. This was fun. We have a show, Comedy Kills. I'm going to get this out before then. May 29th, 8 p.m., Fear City Comedy Club.
Yes, sir.
Joe and I, we always put that show together monthly. We run Plan B Comedy. That's planb.comedy. And what's your Instagram?
Mojo So Dope. That's MOJOE So Dope.
and he's check it out, dude. Joe is legitimately one of my favorite people in the scene and in general. You've been there for me. I love you so much, dude.
And Harrison's all right.
I'm okay.
He's just he's there. You know?
I'm trans.